Everyone. The following excerpts will be from chapter 11 and 12 of Bhagwan's Tapovanam, followed by a brief reflection. Chapter 11's name is Loving Mother Sai, and the excerpt I have chosen is called Tolerance. Many years back, students in the primary school in Puttaparthi used to take their daily morning bath in cold water. Swami felt sad and thought, parents of these tender young children left them in my care because of their immense trust in me. Poor fellows, they have only cold water to bathe in every day. That thought soon led to the provision of solar heaters, which heat water using sun rays. In no time, they were installed in the hostels. Students, teachers, and the principal of the school were very pleased. They prayed to Swami to inaugurate the solar heating system, and he agreed. Arrangements for inauguration were soon completed, and the equipment was connected to a tap by a rubber tube. When Swami arrived, he would turn the tap, and hot water would flow into a bucket placed below. They didn't have to wait long. Swami arrived, and he turned the tap. Unfortunately, the rubber tap got detached just at that moment, and there was a burst of hot water on Swami's face and his garments. This sudden mishap shocked everyone. There was an embarrassed silence all around, and not a hand moved because everyone stood petrified. Swami understood their misery, and he laughed aloud to break the spell. He said, "Look, the inaugural bath has been taken by me." Swami's laughter and pleasant remarks brought relief to everyone. Their hearts could become light and they could breathe easily. Everyone joined in Swami's laughter, and because Baba is ever merciful, he knows no anger. My life is my message, he says. It is a message of love, compassion, and mercy. There's no place for anger. You know, chapter 11 is called Loving Mother Sai, and its understanding is a necessity now more than ever. When I read this excerpt, I found myself filled with questions, not for Baba, but for myself and for all of us. We live in a society that has, by nature of its mechanisms, socialized ideas of what we should and should not believe and why we do things. It implies to us that man is just an animal and our value comes from our wealth. Where has this idea arisen that God punishes us to, quote-unquote, keep us in line? To that extent, why have we accepted this notion of humanity being morally corrupt? How have we become so bitter and jaded towards each other? We are all divine, and we must strive to see divinity in our fellow humans. Humanity has long existed, whether it is this iteration of society or not. And so this idea that regulation by punishment is able to manufacture the social agreements that we proceed upon in society with each other, it just creates this divide that keeps us from loving each other and recognizing the goodness in each other. More importantly, this notion of a wrathful God is not reconcilable with what we know about our Baba and what we believe. Why do we get so scared that Baba won't bless us if we do one thing versus another? I stand here and reflect on the transactional nature of this relationship we have made between us and Baba. And that, to me, is what this excerpt beautifully disposed of. Baba is not a tyrant who demands your faith or love. He doesn't ask you to bribe or cajole him through various means. He simply is a patient mother who smiles as he says his life is his message, and that message has always been of service and doing what you can for your fellow embodiments of love. In this age of fear-mongering and polarization, we must strive to remember to follow his message and be God-loving, not God-fearing. Chapter 12, the Temples of Healing. There are always inveterate doubters who question what is the need for a hospital if God incarnate is right here to attend every problem of the devotees. Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai referred to such doubts and said, some people might be questioning, Swami is capable of healing the sick by his mere will. Why then is a hospital of this size and attendant paraphernalia needed? Let them think a little further. This one is not the only hospital of mine. Suppose there is a person in Chennai who runs a clinic or hospital. He treats the handicapped children and heals them. His healing center too is mine. As a matter of fact, every single hospital, irrespective of where it stands, belongs to me. I'm overseeing every one of them. Why go so far? Those who pray to me from the bottom of their hearts, seeking my help, irrespective of who they are, be it hospital or home or any other spot, all of them are mine. Do not confine me to the few acres of land around Prashanti Nilayam. Whenever a person prays honestly for Prashanti, the spot from where the person prays will become a Prashanti Nilayam. Remember another salient fact. This hospital helps to inculcate faith in you, to enable you to recognize divinity and to cast doubts from your mind. Besides healing the sick, the hospital serves another purpose too. Some people have blind faith in medicines and injections, and it is my duty to provide medical help to such persons also. Their faith in God and His mercy is not yet firm. A hospital is definitely needed to help them too. And while this chapter doesn't only cover Baba's beautiful acts of creating cost-free hospitals throughout India, it also extols the concept of surrender so perfectly. Because the frameworks within we, so filled with hubris, decide to evaluate the actions of God are always so flawed in their underlying assumptions. Because to assume that God's healing is confined to what we conceptualize and what we can understand to be healing, and where we think that healing can take place, makes no sense based on what we ourselves believe the Lord to be capable of. There's a story of a man who was in a boat wreck, and he prays to God to show him a sign that He is real by saving him. As he prays, a fisherman passes by and asks, "Do you need help?" The man says, "Go from here. God will save me." Later, a large ship passes by and asks him to come aboard. The man says, "Go from here. I will be saved by God." Eventually, the man succumbs to the the shipwreck and is lost at sea. When he speaks to the Lord, he says, "Why didn't you save me? I prayed so hard." God says, "I sent you 2 ships. You refused my help." When we pray to God, but search for His signs through our own frameworks, we limit Him to what we know, and how much do we know? I spoke previously on chapter 11 in how much we've made such a transactional relationship with Baba, how we are afraid. Will Baba not bless me if... He dissuades this notion. He says, "It is my duty to provide medical help to such persons also. A hospital is needed for them too." We must open our eyes to His grace and understand it comes in many forms all around us. And more so, we delineate these pathways of deliverance, of healing, as man-made or divine. And that creates a divide between our actions and His. Where is this divide? Are we not divine? Who is acting? To act is to be the instrument of the Lord, and to help your fellow human in service is the greatest act of them all. So why do you assume ownership over your action? Once we accept that we are not the doer, but the tool, and surrender to Him, we will be able to feel more connected to Him, and we will see that He is all around us, healing us, caring for us. Om Shri Satya Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. This concludes chapter 11 and 12. Sister Aditi Shriram will be reading chapter 13. But before then, let us rejoice Bhagwan through this bhajan.
Hari Naam gaate chalo, Sai Ram gaate chalo. Govinda Madhav Naam gaate गोविंद गोविंद माधव नाम गाते चलो। हरि नाम गाते चलो, साई राम गाते चलो। गोविंद विठला गोपाल विठला, जय पटी विठला जय साई विठला। जय पटी विठला जय साई विठला। माधव गोविंद गोविंद माधव नाम गाते चलो। माधव गोविंद गोविंद माधव नाम गाते चलो। हरि नाम गाते चलो, साई राम गाते चलो। गोविंद विठला गोपाल विठला, जय पटी विठला जय साई विठला। जय पटी विठला जय साई विठला। माधव गोविंद गोविंद माधव नाम गाते चलो। माधव गोविंद गोविंद माधव नाम गाते चलो। हरि नाम गाते चलो, साई राम गाते चलो।
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Lord, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Sairam, everyone. My name is Aditi, and I'm a Group 4 SSE student. Today, I will be reading an excerpt from chapter 13 of the Tapovanam, Paramam Vichitram Leela Vibhutim. Vibhuti cancels cancer. Once, an advocate arrived at Prashanti Nilayam. He was a chronic smoker. Cancer afflicted his throat. Doctors advised surgery, along with radiation and chemotherapy. He desired to obtain Swami's permission before the commencement of his treatment. On arrival, the ever-merciful Bhagavan invited him into the interview room. Asking him to hold his palms together to form a bowl, he materialized and poured a large quantity of vibhuti into them and asked him to eat it all. It was dark in color and tasted like bitter gourd. Swami affectionately cajoled and persuaded and helped him finish it. After the interview, the man walked out and went into the canteen for a cup of coffee. As he drank it, his eyes fell on nearby pakoras, a savory dish, crisply fried in oil. Unable to resist, he ate a plateful. Due to pain in his throat, he had not been able to eat properly for a long time, despite his keen desire and strong taste for food. But now, he noticed that he could eat comfortably and relish it. He was surprised. With his finger, he probed inside his mouth at the cancer-affected spot. He felt no pain at all. He realized that the cancer had gone. He was overwhelmed. Tears flooded his eyes as he remembered Bhagwan's mercy. When on the next day, Swami called him again into the interview room, he expressed his gratitude to Swami and fell to his feet. The healing powers of Vibhuti are described at length in this chapter, reminding us of the importance of using Vibhuti. Some examples in this chapter focus on things in our daily lives which we tend to take for granted, such as enjoying a simple meal. It is only when things are taken away from us that we realize how much we appreciate them. This relates to my own life. I am a swimmer, and it's a really important activity for me. Unfortunately, a little while back, I injured my foot, and this made normal movement really difficult. After hearing that swimming wouldn't hurt my foot too much, I tried my best to swim for a class, but I found that I couldn't. My foot started hurting a lot, and I had to stop. I had worked really hard to improve as a swimmer, and to have my progress halted because of an injury was enormously disappointing. Though I knew that this pain was temporary and that I was going to get better soon, I still struggled to be positive. I realized how much swimming means to me and how much I had taken it for granted. I was so relieved when I eventually got back into the water and could actually swim again. Now, my injury is getting better, and I'm back on the swim team at my school. Like the man in this story, I lost something due to a health-related issue and got it back. It allowed me the opportunity to realize my affection for the things in my life and reminded me to be grateful because they are gifts. When I reflect on the roller coaster of emotions that went along with this experience, it pushes me to think about equanimity. We forget sometimes that everything we have is there for a reason and brings us something. Swami teaches us something. Swami communicates his love through everything that he gives us. The good things that we get bring us joy, but bad things allow us to learn. Good and bad are both this prasadam. They're a reminder to be balanced in our lives. Is that not a gift from Bhagavan? Now, I would like to invite Sister Vaishya to share her reflections on chapter 14. Om Shri Sai Ram.
I would like to offer my humble pranams to the lotus feet of our dear Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai, respected elders, gurus, and my fellow peers. Salam everyone. My name is Vaishya, and I'm a Group 4 SSC student. Chapter 14 of the Tapovanam, Divine Miracles Beyond Boundaries, covers stories of devotees from different parts of the world. These devotees have been saved through divine miracles and have dedicated themselves to Bhagavan. They are meaningful and impactful stories that demonstrate Swami's love and compassion for all his children. The story that stood out to me the most, and that I will share now, was of the Malaysian devotee Jagadishan. He was working as a Deputy Director General in the Industrial Development Authority, Government of Malaysia. Whenever he spoke about Swami, he used to be contemptuous, malicious, and vile-tongued in criticizing him. His name is Jagadishan. Once it so happened that Jagadishan went to the home of his mother-in-law. He saw Swami's photograph in her room. He was virulent in his condemnation of Swami. For 2 long hours, he riled and ranted and finally said to the picture, "If you really possess all those divine powers as claimed by these people, show me proof thereof. Only then I will believe these fairy tales." But he did not realize that he had literally thrown a challenge to Bhagavan Baba. No sooner had he said these words than Vibhuti appeared on that photograph. The picture that had provoked his ire. He felt as if lightning had struck him. He realized that in this world of scientific thought, There was something transcending science, something incomprehensible to science. 4 months later, Jagadishan visited India and traveled to Prashanti Nilayam. In the audience hall, Swami neared him gently and moved his loving lips. Malaysia? Surprised and wondering how Swami knew that he came from Malaysia, he answered, "Yes, sir." Swami invited him into the interview room. Jagadishan was now 32 years old, but felt somehow as if he was a boy of 7 sitting with his father. The fatherly affection and love of Swami had melted his heart. Copious tears flowed down his cheeks. He had believed in Swami only for a mere 4 months now. Earlier to that, he had nothing but utter contempt for him. His vileness during that dark period was hanging heavy in his heart, and he could no longer hide his misery. He decided to make a clean breast of it. "Swami," he cried, "please forgive me. Till 4 months ago, I had never believed in you." Bhagavan shook his index finger left to right and again from left and smilingly said, You are not a mere non-believer. You strongly opposed. You are a strong opposition." Jagadishan collapsed in grief and shame and fell at Baba's lotus feet and began literally weeping. Swami held his shoulder and slowly raised him. "Don't cry, Bangaru, don't cry. Swami knows everything." Nowadays, at Swami's suggestion, he is functioning as the central coordinator for the Satya Sai organizations in the East and fulfilling his destiny in the service of the Sai spiritual mission. Whenever situations occur in the way we don't expect or want, individuals sometimes ask the question, "Where is God? Why has he done this to me?" They can even start to blame God when things go wrong. Swami will do anything to reach out to his divine children, as evidenced by the compassion he had for Jagadishan. We live in a society that is materialistic in many ways. Social media often promotes the messages of people feeling happy when they gain a lot of material wealth, such as new purchases or things that aren't necessarily essential. Often, people don't realize that God is the one who gives us this privilege. We should recognize the blessings that we receive through everyday grace, such as getting to live another day, going to school, or going to work. Once we recognize how truly blessed we are, we have the opportunity to put our gratitude into action by thanking God. An important theme of this chapter deals with the vagaries of the mind, Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarna. Mala is the culminative effect of evil deeds done in previous lives. Vikshepa means lack of steadiness in the mind, and Avarna is the over-identification with the body and the roles we play on this earth. This chapter tells us that we must bring our mind under our control with constant sadhana. We are grateful that Swami has gifted us this beautiful Sai center where we can carry out our sadhana. Om Shri Satya Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. This concludes chapter 13 and 14. I now welcome Uncle Sudhakar to the podium to share his excerpts and reflections on chapters 15 and 16. But before this, let us rejoice Bhagavan through this bhajan. Om Shri Sai.
सर्वधर्म स्वरूपा साई सर्वधर्म स्वरूपा साई परती के अवतारा परती के अवतारा हिंदू मुस्लिम ईसाई आते हैं तेरे द्वारे। हिंदू मुस्लिम ईसाई आते हैं तेरे द्वारे। मिलते हैं तेरे द्वारे। मिलते हैं तेरे द्वारे। साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम। साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम। सर्वधर्म स्वरूपा साई। परती के अवतारा। मेरे बाबा मेरे साई। साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम। हिंदू मुस्लिम ईसाई आते हैं तेरे द्वारे। मिलते हैं तेरे द्वारे। साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम। साई राम साई राम साई राम साई राम। सर्वधर्म स्वरूपा साई।
Sai Ram, dear all. As I reflect on chapters 15 and 16 of the Tapovanam, I was deeply moved by Swami's emphasis on developing equanimity in life. Swami says, people should develop an attitude of equanimity towards joy and sorrow, and not to be accelerated by pleasure or depressed by pain. These words serve as a gentle yet profound reminder of how we can rise above the dualities of life and stay anchored in faith. First, from chapter 15, titled, I Am Aware of the Past, Present, and the Future of Everyone. The excerpt that stood out to me is, God is just like a postman who takes out his bag, letter after letter, and hands each one at the appropriate address. Members in one house read their letter and burst out in joy. Another household suffers misery with what it received. As far as the postman, he is least concerned. with the contents of the letter he delivers. His role is merely to transmit each letter to the correct addressee. God too does the same. Swami knows everything, every joy, every sorrow, every challenge that comes our way. He is aware of the past, present, and future, knowing all of this life and our past lives. And just like the postman delivers letters, Swami brings us what is destined for us. Our role is to accept his verdict with grace, without questioning or resistance. However, as humans, we often waver in this faith. When things are going smoothly, we rarely question Swami. It's only when things go wrong, when there is challenges, then we let doubt creep in. Swami, in his infinite wisdom, gives us tools to cultivate this unwavering faith and steadiness of mind. I just want to share a small instance which took place in our lives. When Sumitra was very young, my daughter Sai Sumitra, she really wanted to get into Sathya Sai school. And she used to vigorously pray every day because someone told you have to do 21 times Gayatri Mantra. She did it without any break, without full faith, and she did it. And then at the same time, we were also looking to buy a house. And I was very against buying a high-rise condo. But then something intervened and made us decide to go into a high-rise condo, much against my will, I would say. But then, to our surprise, a month or so after we got into the condominium, we got a call from then Mr. Pillai, the principal of Sathya Sai School, calling and telling Sulekha that your daughter has now been admitted in Sathya Sai School. Well, that was the good news, but then we had two other challenges to meet. He said, you have 1 hour to decide and let me know whether you're going to take the seat. That was one challenge. The second challenge, we didn't have transportation. But then at the time, Sulekha did not know what to do. She called Seema Porter, who was one of the teachers there. And Seema said very politely and lovingly, Auntie, you just accept, we'll take care of the rest later. So we did that, just full faith. We took the thing, and then something told Sulekha, my wife, to call Pillai, Mr. Pillai, to find out if there's anybody around the area who was driving to the school or carpooling. And he said, yeah, there's somebody in this North Talkie area, and he gave an address. And guess what? It was right above our floor. We were 801, and it was 902. So, and then the rest is history. She went to Sathya Sai School. Then my son also became a student at Sathya Sai School. He was a lifer there. I just thought I should share this. The two lessons we learned was, one was faith, which we obviously learned from Sumitra. Her faith to be in that school really kept going, and she achieved what she wanted. And our thing of unwavering faith involved, just have trust in God. He knows what is meant for us in that apartment. So we stayed on in that apartment. She finished the school. So I thought I'd share this instance relating to the title, I Know Your Past and Present and Future. So I thought I'll share that. Similarly, in chapter 16, which is titled Significance of Namasmarana, Swami prescribed Namasmarana as the only divine medicine needed to give us strength to cope with trials and tribulations of life. The following excerpt reads, Namasmarana is the one and only divine medicine capable of curing your lack of mental equanimity, avarice, and other ills which torment you. It gives you abiding peace and contentment. The name you choose can be any one of the thousands of names of gods, or it can be any one of the names now in common use in any religion, country, or region of the world, or in any section of devotees. Select any name and devote at least 5 minutes every day for Namasmarana. Make it a part of your daily routine. It will give you immense benefit. In my own life, I've seen how This simple practice can become a lifetime helpline to center the mind and focus on the faith. No matter the circumstances, for example, in my life, in my family, we start everything big or small by chanting Sai Ram. It's a way of connecting with Swami in all that we do, bringing his presence into our daily lives. This practice doesn't just help during moments of difficulty. It's a constant thread that weaves Swami into everything from our smallest task to our greatest challenges. When Sai Sudesh, my son, was little and he needed stitches for a wound, the doctor even noted he kept saying Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And the doctor said, whatever he's chanting is working out, because he didn't give pain numbing medicine. And then in another instance, my daughter Sai Sumitra and my wife Suleka were confronted with a gunpoint. Yes, I mean a gunpoint, by a few thieves in a drugstore. Both their immediate reaction was to chant Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And they kept doing that. And they were unhurt, and nothing happened, no incident, but this Namasmana really helped them to keep calm. And also, these are just two examples of the strength and faith we found during difficult times. For me personally, I connect to Swami through Seva, which I believe is my path of devotion to Swami, to reach his lotus feet. I find blending Seva with Namasmana even more effective. When we serve others chanting his name or Sai Ram, it helps strengthen the connection even better and even more. No matter the situation, we turn back to this practice of Namasmana. And while reading both these chapters, it fortified my belief in this power. While chanting Sai Ram, there is no space for fear or doubt as we completely surrender. It's not a big ask of Swami to ask us to do this simple practice. In closing, going forward, let's each one of us dedicate some time to do Namasmarana in our lives. Om Sri Sai, Satya Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. This concludes chapter 15 and 16. Nirusha will be reading chapters 17 and 18, but first, let's rejoice Bhagavan through this bhajan. Sai Ram.
हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। हरि नाम बिना शांति नहीं। जप ध्यान बिना समरोग नहीं। प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं। दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं। साई नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं। हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं। प्रेम भक्ति बिना उधार नहीं। गुरु सेव बिना निर्वाण नहीं। हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं। प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं। दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं। भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं। हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं। साई नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं। हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं।
Om Sri Saram, everyone. Chapter 17 and 18 is only Swami's message read through me. And before I start, I just wanted to say the group fours that did their reflections, wow, just to know that the generation coming has such powerful message is so strong to know that our future is in good hands. So thank you. Chapter 17, God's grace will assure through selfless service. Service of man leads to discovery of man as God. If we take one step forward for doing good, Swami will be there ahead of us all the time. Let's all pause. Take a deep breath in, close our eyes, feel Swami's love, and think of one thing that you're extremely grateful for. Now exhale and feel that feeling of overjoy and love. If we take one step forward for doing good, Swami will be there ahead of us all the time. Living a meaningful life with constant reminder of God is not asking much from us. Swami showers us with abundance of love to live such a privileged life. Treating everyone in our daily encounter with love and doing our daily duties, realizing God is in everyone and everything, is just a starting point. Ultimately, we stay on this path, this journey of life to reach our purpose. And we all need to respect that this path we're on, this journey we're on, looks different for everybody. And that path to me is to get closer to God. And what does get closer to God mean to me? Earning to win the grace of God is the most important step to erase ego. To always remember that everything that I have is provided by Him, Swami himself. Nothing is given or provided without Swami's blessings, and I genuinely believe in that. Swami says, "Your happiness is my happiness." When did I realize this? I'll share a personal story, as you are my Sai family. When I gave birth to my first son and thought, wow, I have no control over what's just about to happen. And I ran out of the house with vibhuti and a picture of Swami and left it all to him. He continues to keep pouring his abundance of endless love. At what point do we stop chasing this worldly life and ask ourselves, what am I doing to give back? Again, let us all pause, take a deep breath, and let this quote resonate. For love expressed as service, and God is love. What are we doing to give back? Fulfill your lives by taking up suitable activities in service of mankind. If man too comes forward to dedicate himself in selfless service, there can be no doubt that God's grace will be assured. Every Sunday morning when I'm in the classroom with the SSC children, such pure and innocent souls, I see love in each and every one of them. I've been part of the education wing for most of my life, and I always remind myself that the love that I'm showering on these children will have an impact on these children in their day-to-day lives. The value and the morals Swami teaches through his SSC program is priceless. And I firmly believe that not only my children, but all the children are not a part of any activity or program that they're enrolled in that will set them up for success. You're not doing service for others. You are doing it always for yourself, to the God within you, the God who is equally present in others. If you would like to please me and satisfy me, you need only to see me in every living being. I see Swami in all those children. Serve all living beings as you would serve me and worship me. That alone is the holy path that brings you to me. This is my path that brings me closer to Him. Maintaining spirituality throughout life is my goal. This chapter concludes, a person who possesses staunch and unwavering devotion to God is supreme. He will be righteous. He will be blessed with God's grace. Nobody can cause harm to him, granting us the greatest wealth, God's divine protection. Chapter 18, earn for God's grace through life's ups and downs. Keep your focus on God constantly. This chapter helped me refocus on how I am prioritizing things and how to focus on God constantly. Reading this chapter repetitively, week over week, helped me align my priorities. Difficulties are created to increase the earning and to shift the sincere devotee from the rest. I can earn your support and protection, your sweet, intimate love and your proximity, only when I have been in difficulties. So I pray to you to grant me only hardship all the time. This is a very difficult quote to align with. No one wants to be in hardship all the time. But when we all think about the times we have been faced with hardship, we have also been given the strength and guidance to deal with the hardship. This chapter really helped me take a step back and look at what life has to offer and the hardships that we have faced as a family, as a young adult, as a wife, a mother, a daughter-in-law, every roles we play. It makes me realize these challenges that I'm faced with bring me closer to God. Earn for God's grace through life's ups and downs. Through life's hardest times, we grow the strength and grow our relationship. Through these personal challenges, I agree that I developed a sense of calmness and learned more about myself to look within. God does not bestow as much closeness and love when you are comfortable and enjoying life as when you are in trouble and suffering the pangs of adversity. In God's view of all, both suffering and happiness are equal. There is not a single believer abandoned by God. I always believed that Swami was with me through my life's challenges, and if there's one thing I'm extremely grateful for, is my parents for raising me in the Sai fold. And as crazy as it sounds, because we're all a part of this and we feel this, I know we all feel privileged to know and to live his message. A sincere thank you to the study group for making myself accountable to read this book week over week, no matter what trip or what event or basketball or whatever you do, this book is with us, and we're always constantly reading it. So thank you to everyone, and it helps me focus on God and earn his grace. Jai Sai Ram, and now I'll be passing it on to Swami for the closing. Thank you.
Sai Sai Smaran Karo. Sat Guru Sai Seva Karo.
Om Shri Sairam. Over the past couple of hours, we've had the immense blessing of hearing from our aunties, uncles, brothers, and sisters about the profound meaning of Swami's message in their lives as it relates to the chapters of the Tapovanam. The Tapovanam is not just a sacred text. It's a treasure trove of stories, teachings, and memories that recount Bhagavan's divine life and mission. It serves as a timeless guide, reminding us how Swami's message helps us navigate the journey of self-discovery and align our lives with the ideals of love, compassion, and selfless action. To me, the most beautiful gift of the Tapovanam and the reflections we've heard today is the way Swami meets each of us exactly where we are. In his infinite grace and wisdom, Swami reaches out to us, whether that's through a moment of inspiration, 4 simple but profound words, a story at the right time, a reminder that we should be grateful for our health, or even his divine presence. Today, through the unique perspectives of our speakers, each coming from different walks of life and with a range of experiences, we've witnessed how Swami's message resonates personally with each of us. Isn't it truly awe-inspiring to think of how the Lord watches over us, constantly guiding us as we ponder the eternal question, who am I? Whether it's through the healing powers of Vibhuti, Seva, or deeply personal moments, Swami's message flows through every aspect of our lives, illuminating our path. And the reflections shared today serve as a powerful reminder of that unwavering presence, a call to stay anchored in the light of his teachings. So, let us take a moment to offer our heartfelt gratitude and a round of applause to all our speakers for opening their hearts and minds. To our speakers and our singers, thank you for the role you played in taking us on this transformative journey of reflection and discovery. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but if you're not already inspired and haven't read the Tapovanam, it's an excellent opportunity for you to visit our center's library and get your own copy. And who knows, maybe next year it'll be one of you that's up here sharing what it means to you. As we close this morning's program, I want to leave you with one of Swami's most profound teachings. My life is my message. This phrase, beautifully embodied in the Tapovanam, encapsulates Swami's life of love, sacrifice, and service. Yet, as we know, Swami himself made a powerful shift to this statement, urging each of us to rise to our own divine potential with his words, "Your life is my message." This simple yet transformative change reminds us of our sacred duty to live as reflections of our Swami's ideals and to embody his legacy of love, compassion, and selfless service. To fulfill this, we must embark on the journey of knowing ourselves. This path of self-discovery, guided by faith, was exemplified in every chapter of the Tapovanam and every moment of our dear Swami's life. Let us carry this inspiration forward every day, but today, on his birthday, living as his messengers and striving each day to make our lives a testament to his teachings. Together, may we walk this divine path with faith, humility, and an unwavering commitment to the ideals Swami has gifted each and every one of us. Om Shri Satya Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. This concludes our offering on the reading and reflections of the Tapovanam. To conclude this morning's program, we'll do our closing prayers and Brahmarpanam and make our way to the recreation room for lunch shortly after. I know our aunties in the kitchen have been hard at work all morning, so we can all enjoy this delicious meal. And after that, we kindly request all of you to be please seated in the prayer hall by 1:30 p.m. so that we can promptly begin our heart-to-heart series at 1:45 p.m. And I might be a little bit biased in saying this, and you'll see why at 1:45, but I think you're in for a real treat. With that, I'll conclude this morning's program, and we'll finish with our closing prayers. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Brahmarpanam Brahmahaver Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivate Gandhavyam Brahmakarma Samadhina Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktah Pachamyannam Chaturvedam Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti